Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost. We are at the Divisional Round. I am your host, Diesel, joining you from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight. And I am with my co host, as always. He's joining you from the cave. Didn't update the chalkboard this week, but he is the dad-a-lack, Chad.
Hello! And yeah, no, I didn't feel like doing the chalkboard since you already won the regular season and we got the same records last week for picks anyways, so I didn't feel like going through and writing all that on the board.
Yeah, we both went 4-2. Both got an individual game wrong, and then the Monday night game, which was like this whole weekend was sandwiched by not great games, but like the meat of the weekend, Sunday, and like second game on Saturday was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
But I would agree with that. The bread of the super wild card round was kind of stale and boring, but yes, the actual condiments and the meat and the chunk of lettuce that we got was quite delicious.
Yeah, so yeah, it was an interesting week. We'll be talking about it. We only got 4 games to pick this week, so this is going to be a shorter episode. Next week, we're only going to have 2 games to pick. And then when we do our episode for the Super Bowl, we're just going to do a whole season retrospective, and then we're going to make our Super Bowl picks. But yeah, so the next couple weeks, going to be shorter episodes, but let's get into it. Let's talk some football. Let's go with the first game on Saturday, which is at 3:30. We have now they're 10-8 because I'm counting the playoffs as their records from here on out. 10-8 Jacksonville Jaguars facing the number 1 seed 14-3 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 8.5. This game is interesting for so many reasons. On paper, it's like the Chiefs should win this game going away, but I don't know. There's something about those Jaguars that have that like 14 seed in March Madness tournament.
Ooh,
Like, yeah, it just, I don't know. They feel like they could throw an upset Kansas City's way. I mean, that offense on Saturday night on the first half was just horrid. Lawrence threw 4 picks in the first half, and they had another turnovers. There was 5 turnovers by Jacksonville in the first half, and they were down 27-0 at one point. Got a touchdown going into halftime to bring the lead to 20. And the whole time, like, I had this feeling that the game wasn't over. And we were texting back and forth, and we were even saying, like, when it was 27-0, can the Chargers charger this game? And they sure did.
They sure did.
Like, the second half was a different story. Trevor Lawrence looked like the Trevor Lawrence that we were expecting. Doug Peterson was calling amazing plays. That 4th and 2, like when they lined up looking like they're going for a quarterback sneak, and really they ran an end around. He got about like 40 yards.
Yeah, ETN around the side, just untouched.
Man,
I thought he was going to score.
Doug Peterson, when it's like crucial crunch time, like you need a play, that's the guy that I want coaching my team, for real. Like, nobody I thought for sure was going to be a quarterback sneak. I didn't see that play coming, and that's how you run a 4th down play. I'm sick of all these teams like running it up the gut. You know what? A quarterback sneak, fair enough. That makes sense. But like you hand it off and you run it up the gut. I'm sick of seeing that because 9 out of 10 times it seems like it gets stopped. But I like new innovative ways to do things like that. And Doug Peterson, he's your guy. But I don't know, the Jacksonville in that second half, like they just looked unstoppable. Then Bosa, I mean, it was a penalty by rule. You can't take your helmet off and do that. But also, that was 100% false start. I don't care what Terry McCauley or whoever the stupid analyst was like trying to say, well, on this play, they give him the benefit of the doubt. Bullshit. Yeah. He was like it was almost like a full second.
Yeah.
Like that
and
was
and you didn't give
start.
Bosa the benefit of the doubt when his helmet was a half inch.
Right?
Oh, there's the bell.
Exactly.
over the
technically
line.
That was the penalty, but
yeah,
a lot of times they let that go. But like, yeah, that was totally 100% false start. And like, I don't fault Bosa for his reaction. It's just unfortunate that he did it in the field of play. And like, then they got the ball at the 1 yard line, which made for a pretty easy 2-point conversion.
yeah.
And then like, I knew that they were going to lead down the field, end the game with a last-second field goal. And I said on this program last week that the winner of that game was going to be the team that had the ball last, and I was right.
You were correct. With all of that said, though, I need to know, are you going to pick Jacksonville to upset Kansas City this week?
No, I can't do it.
I knew you could.
Kansas City, Kansas City's going to lose. They're going to lose in the AFC Championship. It's just, and I don't know who I'm picking in the Cincinnati-Buffalo game yet either, but I don't know. Kansas City's not going to lose to Jacksonville. I think the road stops here for Jacksonville, but they have a promising future. That's for sure. Hopefully they'll be back next year. I'm going Kansas City.
That is fair. All right. Since there's only 4 games this week, you know what? I'll give you my picks for everything for gambling wise. What's the over/under in this game, Diesel?
52.5.
52.5. Wow, that is high. I'm not going to give locks. I'm going to just tell you how confident I am on each one of these. I'm taking the under in this game, and I'm like a 70% confidence on this one. And at about a 95% confidence this week, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I think Jacksonville has run out of gas. After that emotional comeback win against the Chargers, that was crazy. If you go down against the Chiefs by 17 points, they're not letting you back in the game. You are done. You get down by 17 against Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team, it's over. And that's what's going to happen. The Jaguars might score some points at the end to make it close, but I see the Chiefs winning this game by 2 touchdowns. And as Diesel said, though, the future is bright for the Jaguars in an absolutely atrocious AFC South. They could run the table for a while and be a constant threat in the playoffs. They just keep finding a few more pieces here and there and getting better. So while I think they're going to lose this game handily, I think the Jaguars' future is quite bright.
I actually think this game might be closer than a lot of people think. I do think that it's always going to be Jacksonville chasing Kansas City, but Kansas City tends to have that. They don't put the foot on the throat. Like, they let up, and then they let teams back in it. And there's been a few times this year, and even the past years, where Kansas City will come out and they'll be dominating. You get to the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden someone starts creeping back in. Kansas City usually finishes it off, but they have a real test at the end of the game. I think this game's going to be a little closer than people are expecting. I think Jacksonville's defense is going to be able maybe not keep up with Kansas City's offense, but they'll be able to hold their own at times. But yeah, Kansas City is also going to have to play nearly a mistake-free game, because you start giving Jacksonville's defense turnovers, that offense gets some momentum. I mean, that might not end up good for Kansas City, but I still think Kansas City is going to win this game.
It's an Arrowhead. Give me the points.
It's an Arrowhead.
And give me the under.
Moving on to the second game on Saturday at 7:30, we have the New York Giants, who are 10-7-1, traveling to the 14-3 one-seeded Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is favored by 7.5. This game it's kind of like the last game in ways. The Giants looked better than Jacksonville, I would say. Definitely. Daniel Jones looked really good. Saquon Barkley had a good game. It was at the end when they almost shot themselves in the foot when they dropped that ball, and then the Vikings got gifted that
Roughing the
roughing the
passer
passer call. I
call.
thought when that happened, like we're
Boo.
going to overtime. I thought we were going to overtime for sure because I've seen this movie. I've seen it. And then
All
you get to
year.
4th and 8, and then Kirk Cousins decides to throw a 3-yard check down. And it's just like, this is your season. Like, and it's exactly how it was supposed to end. I said this weeks ago. We could probably look like, I don't know, episode like week 12 or something like that. I said the Vikings, they'll win the division, but they're going to lose in the first round to the Giants. I said this, and I was right again. And I did pick the Vikings to win last week, but I was wrong. I got that one wrong. I will admit that. I mean, couldn't have been any happier to be wrong, to be honest with you. But now the Giants are playing Philadelphia. And Philadelphia had a rough end of the season. They beat the Giants in the final week of the season, but the Giants also rested everybody. They did get a week of rest. That's good for Hurts. The Giants are playing some pretty good football, and they are a hotter team than Philadelphia. You can make that argument. This is going to be a game. It's 7.5. Philadelphia's favored. Like, I could also see this one going down to final possession. I don't think that if I were Philadelphia, I would be scared. Like, Philadelphia's been pretty dominant this year, but we're at the time of the year where you're hot, and the Giants are notorious for doing this in the playoffs. I don't know. This game's way closer than it probably should be. I mean, at least like a few weeks ago, you would think, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia just to say, because I want to see Philadelphia in the NFC Championship. And how crazy is it that we could get an all NFC East NFC Championship? 3 out of the 4 teams made it to the final 4 of the NFC.
Yep. Just the commies missed out. Everyone else in the NFC East made it past the first round, which is absolutely wild. My thoughts on last week
before the season started.
No. But my thoughts on last week's game for the Giants is, so apparently Daniel Jones is just now the white Michael Vick because he rushed the ball 17 times for 78 yards and threw the ball pretty damn well the whole time. And they just carved up. And don't get me wrong, the Vikings had no defense all year. One of the worst defenses. Everyone ragged on the Lions the whole time, but really, that Vikings defense was just as porous, if not more porous. So they should have been taking a lot more heat for that. I was so glad to watch the fraudulent Vikings go down. Don't get me wrong, I don't know why I hate them so much. They just annoy me. And maybe it's because I know some really annoying Vikings people or fans who come into the bar I work at, and they just drive me nuts. And they were driving me nuts all year. And when I picked against the Vikings this last week, they were like, well, Chad, the Vikings were battle tested. You know, that's why they're so good in those one-score games. I go, no, you freaking idiots. They aren't. They're just lucky. They were just lucky. And you can't lie about it. Don't get me battle tested. Everything regresses to the mean. And you don't win that many one-score games. I was glad it finally bit him in the butt. And watching Kirk Cousins dink that ball down at 3 yards instead of past the sticks or at least closer to the sticks, and expecting Hawkinson to get another 6 yards was hilarious. It was so obviously a bad call. In this game, Diesel, what is the over-under? And I already know which way I'm going for the spread.
It's 48.5.
You know what? Give me the over in this game, and I would say I'm about an 80% confident in that bet, and then 100% bet, give me the Giants, because I definitely think that this is a one-score game to a field goal game. I think Diesel's right, and comes down to the final possession with whoever has the ball has a shot to win the game, and whichever team that'll be, I think it'll be the Eagles. I do agree with Diesel. I think Jalen Hurts is, with this week of rest, he should have been the MVP if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. He was absolutely ripping the league up. Don't get me wrong, Patrick Mahomes also had a great year and probably will win the award now. But Jalen Hurts, another week of rest. A.J. Brown, that whole cadre of running backs back there, that defense getting a little rest. I mean, I do think it scores some points in this game, but give me the Eagles and to win. But I will take the Giants with 100%, -7.5. The Giants will keep it close.
I mean, we've seen it time and time again. It happened last year in both conferences. The teams that get the bye, rest isn't always the best. And like being the hottest team really is the most important thing. And the Eagles, like, they didn't limp into the playoffs by any means. They clinched or like week 14 or something like that, but they didn't perform well down the stretch, and that's very important. And so, like, I don't blame you for taking the Giants. I just feel the Eagles are the better team, and it's at the end of the game, they're going to be the one that has the ball last. I don't know. But I'm excited for that game. That game should be great. I don't know what network it's going to be on, but I think if it was Kevin Burkhardt and what's his face, Greg Olson calling that game on Fox. Yeah, that'd be a good combination. I don't know what network any of these games are on, but yeah.
I don't know either.
Sometimes it makes a difference, like who's actually calling the game. Sometimes, like, stupid Chris Collinsworth. If Mike Tirico wasn't so good, you know what I mean? Like, he can't even make Chris Collinsworth better, but like Mike Tirico is one of the best of all time.
I don't hate Chris Collinsworth as much as I used to. He's just kind of now like annoying, like kind of just white noise in the background. I don't really listen to what he's saying.
I mean, yeah, he used to be worse. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, anyways, speaking of Mike Tirico, he had that really good call last week when they had that fumble return for a touchdown. Like, Mike Tirico's the best. I'm glad that he's back in the booth instead of being on the pregame show.
100%.
He was great on Monday Night Football with Gruden. But yeah, speaking of Cincinnati, that's the next game. That's at 3:30 on Sunday. And I'm guessing this one's going to be Romo and Nance. But it's the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 13-4, traveling to the 13-4 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is favored by 4.5. This is the game that we got to see like 4 minutes and like 53 seconds of or something like that. And it was up until the final seconds of that time. It was a good game. The Bengals went down and just drove down the field and scored a touchdown, made it look easy. The Bills almost did the same thing. They ended up with a field goal, and then everything happened with Damar Hamlin, and everyone knows the story, how it went. But we are actually going to get this game. You knew this game was going to hit in the playoffs. Like, it had to have. And I was pretty confident when we picked that game, the Monday night game, that Cincinnati was going to win that game. And they looked good. I mean, who knows? There's still like 55 minutes left to play in that game. But, I mean, the way it was going, who knows? But, I don't know, this game, Cincinnati looked a little flat last week. They were playing a division rival who they played the week before. So, I mean, it's tough. But their offense didn't click as well as you would have hoped. Like, that should have almost been like a statement game, and they just didn't make that statement. But then again, the Bills also played a division rival who gave them everything that they had with their third-string quarterback, and the Bills could barely hold them off. Like, I thought Miami might win that game at times, and it just shows you like how deep and good Miami actually is. And for all the people that are like calling for Mike McDaniel's head, you're an idiot. If you think that Mike McDaniel should have been fired, you should just stop watching football and find some other pastime, because you don't know what you're talking about. That guy took the Dolphins, who were like crap, and then look what he did with them this year. He totally changed up the system, got Tyreek Hill, and they almost won a playoff game. And I bet you they'll be back next year. The healthy Tua, maybe a Tom Brady, who knows? Doubt it. I don't think anybody wants Tom Brady after Monday night. But Yeah. Anyways, this game, I don't know. Who do you got? I'm 50-50. This game is just.
Oh, I'm not 50-50 at all. I once again, I've been calling for it for a while. I don't believe in the Buffalo Bills this year. I think once again they don't have that killer instinct. And you know what? Buffalo, a Bill, aka a Bison, might be big and powerful. But you know what I'm gonna take? I'm gonna take that aggressive Tiger, the Bengal Tiger, because I got the freaking Bengals in this game. And I give me the points, obviously. I'm betting the money line on the Bengals here because they're going to win this game outright. And what's the over-under?
Over-under is 48.5.
Oh, give me that over. I could see this game being a 35-32 game, just like basically the game that they played against the Dolphins, but them being on the losing end. I'm sorry. Josh Allen he had 2 turnovers. Once again, 3 turnovers. Didn't he? Did he fumble the ball as well, I want to say?
I think he had 3 fumbles in the entire game.
Well, he had 2
interceptions. And he fumbled 3 times. Didn't all were for turnovers. One of them was. But yeah. You put some pressure on him. He didn't look great. But
he's got a case of the turnovers. And the Bengals, as you just saw, though they played a division rival, and we should have seen that coming. I mean, the Ravens always play. That game is a tough game to play. And I don't know who the heck Tyler Huntley thought he was this last week. And then trying to jump for that touchdown when you are
lined up for a quarterback sneak when everybody's up the middle.
Yeah,
and you're
just
a yard
put himself in the air. Just like a ballerina in the air holding the ball straight up. And just handing it over to the Bengal. One of the greatest things ever, watching that big man run all the way off, basically 100 yards down the field to score a touchdown. Him sucking that oxygen. I was laughing my butt off. It was hilariously awesome.
I mean, it's crazy how fast things turn because the Ravens were literally about to take the lead. And it just went the other direction. It just
it was a 14-point swing, at least. You have to say at least a 10-point, but they looked like they were about to score a touchdown there, and instead the Bengals score a touchdown.
Imagine being a fan of either fan base. You're sitting there and you see that play, and the Ravens coming into that game probably thinking, the Ravens fans thinking that they're probably not going to win this game, and they're in the fourth quarter. They're about to take the lead. They might upset Cincinnati, and then that happens, and it's just And then what Michael Vick said to Lamar Jackson, it's dude, his knee could be way more messed up than you even know. They're not putting that information out there. You don't know the severity of his sprain. He says it's a grade 2, borderline grade 3. That's pretty serious. Yeah. And he still wants to play more football in his career. And I get it. It's the playoffs, but look what happened to RG3. He played when they told him not to play, and it ended his career. Mm-hmm. He was a career backup after that. So I don't blame Lamar Jackson for taking care of his body so he can play more. It's a contract year. It might affect his money a little bit by not playing, but he's probably going to make more money in the long run because when he comes back next year, he's going to be healthy. I also think it helps his case with the Ravens that they actually need Lamar Jackson because they probably would have won that game if they had healthy Lamar Jackson.
Quite possibly.
That being said, I gotta make my pick.
Yeah, I gotta make beat around the bush enough. Make the pick.
So I do got a question though, because I'm not 100% clear on this. If Cincinnati wins and Kansas City wins, is that a neutral site game, or is it just Buffalo and Kansas City that's neutral site?
It's just Buffalo and Kansas City is the only neutral site. If Cincinnati wins,
Cincinnati technically, if they would have beat Buffalo,
because Cincinnati's getting screwed. That's why Cincinnati's pissed about it. It kind of, no offense, but it screwed the whole end situation. Screwed Cincinnati over and screwed them out of a chance at either having the 2 seed or the 1 seed if they would have broke right.
So yeah, it should have just made it a neutral site for all 3.
Probably.
That would have been the fairest way to do it. And so that does suck. But that doesn't really change my opinion on my pick or anything. I was just curious. I don't know what I want to see more because last year's Kansas City, Cincinnati, um, AFC Championship game was amazing. Went down to overtime. Uh, Cincinnati won 2 years ago. AFC Championship was amazing with the Bills and Kansas City last year. Kansas City and the Bills in the divisional round. Everybody knows what went down there.
13
You never give
seconds.
you never give Patrick Mahomes any time. It doesn't matter if his timeouts or not. You just don't do it. You don't. I don't know. Like if Kansas City wins on see, part of me wants Jacksonville to win because it's a good story. It's underdog. But I know if Kansas City wins on Saturday, first game of the season, I'm going to be super excited because that means we're getting Cincinnati or Buffalo next week. I really want that. I want one of those combinations. I really do. And I know you do too. You don't know, man. I'm so 50-50 on this game.
Just you got to do it. You got to pull the trigger.
Going Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo. I think that I'm going to be rooting for Cincinnati, but I'm going Buffalo because they were the team at the beginning of the season. Looked like they were the best on the paper. They started out on fire, and yeah, they've been inconsistent this year, but they feel like they could be a team of destiny, and no matter what happens, it feels like they may come out in the end looking good. So I'm 50-50 and I'm going Buffalo.
Fair enough. At least we have something
finally
to root against each other for.
I mean, we got the Philadelphia Giants game too.
Oh, I picked Philadelphia to win. I just said I'm taking the points for the Giants in the betting.
Oh, well, I had you down as the Giants. Good thing. Thank you for clearing that up.
I'm glad I cleared it up because I would have been a real MacGuffin next week. I'd been real mad about it.
Yeah, well, thank you for clearing that up now because I changed it for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, now we're moving on to the final game, Sunday night. I'm assuming this will be NBC because it's Sunday night and they get the primetime game and whatever. We get Dallas, 13-5 Dallas, rematch of last year's playoffs, traveling to the 14-4 San Francisco 49ers. Different venues, but last year with that debacle with having no time left and trying to hurry up and run a play and running out of time. And San Francisco moved on. Both these teams are different drastically. You got Purdy as the quarterback of San Francisco, and they also now have Christian McCaffrey. They haven't lost in like 11 games. But Dallas also looks to be better. Dallas looked fairly good against Tampa Bay, but then they were playing Tampa Bay, so you don't even really know. I thought Dak looked really good. Maher did not look good. How do you miss 4 extra points? Like, he's lucky they got a 5th touchdown I'm surprised that they trotted him out there for that 5th one.
When I saw it was 24-0, I was so confused, and they were like, they've scored 4 touchdowns, and it's 24-0. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. What's happening here?
I've maybe seen 2 missed extra points in a game by a kicker. I've never seen 4. I couldn't believe it. When he went out there for the 4th time, I'm like, he's going to miss this one, isn't he? And he just skimmed the top of the upright, so it didn't count. It just, I don't know. It was rough. But it didn't matter because the offense of Tampa Bay couldn't do anything. They just
can't run the ball.
They can't. Well, Tom Brady threw the ball this year more than any quarterback by a lot. Tom Brady didn't look great. That whole offense was just abysmal. Defense tried for a little while, and then they just realized that it was a lost cause. Byron Leftwich was fired in the 3rd quarter. And that's the saddest thing of all. He was almost the Jaguars head coach last year. Yeah. But then the whole thing with Shad Khan and whatever and the general manager, and he then didn't accept the job, went back to Tampa Bay, and now he's fired. And now he probably doesn't have any head coaching prospects. So
Yeah, but he'll
It's
get a
just,
job. It'll be fine.
oh, he'll get a job somewhere, that's for sure. But like, I don't know. I think
He'll get
Todd
another
Bowles
chance.
as the head coach was a very poor decision.
Very poor.
I think that it's time for them to probably tear it down and yeah, see what they can do in the future. But I mean, they're in a weak division, so it might not take much to like get back on track. But
Yeah.
that's what
The
everyone's
AFC
saying.
South is quite weak. Both Souths are very, very weak divisions, so they could definitely turn it around. But Tampa Bay definitely needs to blow that team up.
So that makes me wonder about Dallas. Are they going to show up against San Francisco? Because if they do show up against San Francisco, we're going to have a game on our hands. Because that defense, I believe, can hold San Francisco off for that offense to be able to keep up. Even though San Francisco has a good defense, like, don't sleep on Pollard. Don't sleep on that receiving core. Don't sleep on, God, what's his name? The tight end for the Cowboys.
Dalton Schultz.
Um, yeah, Schultz. He's like probably the most underrated tight end in 2022 season. Like, I mean,
Beast.
you hear people talk about him, but they don't talk about him in like upper echelon of tight ends like Kelsey or Kittle or Andrews. He's up there. I would
He was
say
hurt
I
a
might
lot
even
this
put
year.
him fourth. He might be under those three guys. And like Dallas has an offense. Mike McCarthy, like him or hate him, he does know how to run an offense. I am very interested in this game because we got like old school West Coast offense versus new school West Coast offense going head to head. And this game, this game could be really, really good. Or else San Francisco is just gonna like dominate. I don't see Dallas dominating San Francisco. I see it going, it's gonna be close, and it's gonna be a battle, or San Francisco is just gonna advance into the NFC Championship the second year in a row. That being said, I'm going Dallas.
Nice.
I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that it's Dallas. There's something in me saying San Francisco's won so many games. They played Seattle last week, and Seattle gave them a battle up until like midway through the third quarter, and San Francisco was just like, no, you're nothing. Like, get out of our way. But I don't know. I feel like Dallas has went through a lot more adversity than San Francisco, even though San Francisco is their third string quarterback. I feel they were better suited at using backup quarterbacks than Dallas was when they had Cooper Rush in there. He's the reason they're here. I said it last week. He should be the MVP of the Cowboys this year. But I got Dallas. It's probably a mistake, but I got Dallas. Because that's Dallas.
And that's Dallas. What's the over-under on this game, and what's San Fran favored by?
San Fran is favored by 4, which I think that's legit. And 46.5 is the over-under.
Yeah, once again, at about a 90%, I would say hammer that over, because San Fran will either put up 30-some points, as they've done for basically the past, 2 months, or if it is a close game, the over is going to hit quite easily. And then also, at about 95%, I'm taking San Fran, and I will eat those 4 points, because, I'm sorry, Tampa Bay just isn't that good. And we've seen Dak, when he gets a little pressure in his face, he gets a little erratic with the ball this year. I think he had at least 12 interceptions on the year, and he missed multiple games. So that is not a good stat to have. This San Fran defense is aggressive. They will come after Dak. That offensive line, though played well against Tampa Bay, has been leaky a lot this year. I do agree, Diesel. If it's a close game, I'm still taking San Fran, but I could see this game easily being a blowout in San Francisco's favor, where it's close maybe for a quarter, maybe 2. Like at halftime, it seems like it's still a contest, and then this San Fran defense is just something else. They just really turn up the pressure in the second half, and I'm sorry, everyone, for the cat butt right there. But yeah, I got San Francisco, and I will eat the points at 4. at about 90% positivity, and then at also 90% positivity, hammer that over.
You should censor out the cat, but I think that'd be hilarious.
I will see what I can do.
I don't know. Dallas is a weird team. I feel like if Dallas is ahead, San Francisco hasn't had to chase anybody since like they had their turnaround. They have always usually been in the lead, and if not in the lead, they're not far behind and they get the lead and then they start pulling away. There's only been one game that I can remember this year that Dallas had where they were caught when they had a big lead, and that was against the Packers. I think I don't know. I feel like if San Francisco has to play catch up, it's going to be hard. It's because Purdy's never been in that situation, and I think that will play in Dallas's favor. But we'll see. We'll see.
I love me some Mr. Irrelevant, so I'm in on Mr. Irrelevant. Give me San Fran.
Well, that's all the games we have this week, and I guess that's all the time we have. So I think now is a good time to wrap it up. I'll ask Chad for his obligatory final thoughts. Do you have any?
Obligatory final thoughts for the week. I'm excited. This is the most exciting week of football besides Super Wildcard Week. This is usually the best football we get all year. Is the divisional round. 4 games, 4 teams who are all primed and ready for it. So I am jacked up and ready for some divisional round football this weekend.
And I think you said it best, and I'm going to leave my words the same as yours. You can follow me on Twitter at Diesel_VFTR. Follow Chad on Twitter at Chads_mine. The Viz Global Media at Viz Global Media on Twitter. visionariesglobalmedia@gmail.com is where you send your podcasts in, and you'll be heard on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podknife, and Podable. But until then, we got some good games to watch this coming weekend, and I'm excited. Chad's excited. For my partner, Chad, I've been your host, Diesel, and let's watch some divisional round football.
Bye.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.